In developing ideas for the progression of my project, you know you have a chronic illness when I varied my approach to idea generation. I stepped away from my usual take on how to develop ideas and developed my own version of a spider chart as follows. In developing my spider charts, I started with a word or a phrase that I felt was most particular to my project. I then developed them further, choosing words that would go with them or developing ideas or problem outcomes for my project. I wanted to be able to challenge myself in my approach to this, and I wanted to be able to challenge myself in having come through problem outcomes already if they were brought up by a member of my forum or from a tutor. I wanted to develop something that would stand in the long run and that would really help my project to grow and flourish from then on. In previous activities that were in aid of the development of my project, I had spoken about the Spanish artist and illustrator Maria Jose Gallati Molina, excuse my pronunciation, as somebody whose aesthetic I felt would really complement itself to my work. It was at this point in time that I began to explore other artists, designers, tattoo artists and illustrators whose work I felt would really lend itself and be influential. I looked at tattoo artists such as Mo Ganji, who works specifically with line, creating a shape from there. I looked at the illustrator Chrissy Lau, whose work I really admire. She has a beautiful aesthetic and a way of working the line to create a really expressive piece, and her use of colour in its minimalistic style is gorgeous. I felt that the work of Aliana Cazalet would really lend itself well to my project. Her style is primarily concentrated on line and minimalism, and yet she is able to capture a really expressive world and show her work in a very, very beautiful light. I looked at George Sopa and Michael Mantle's work in their character creation and how they were able to create worlds that were expressive for their character to walk in, to interact with. And it's something that I want to concentrate on in the development of my work. As for somebody with a chronic illness, your environment is everything. It's your safe haven, it's your comfort zone, it's the one place that you can truly allow yourself to really feel. So I want to make sure that I do my character development and my environmental development justice in the creation of my book. I also looked at Kata Khan Kabin, who has a very sketch-like approach to tattoo artistry. When it came to the mini brief, Bridging Distance, I really wasn't sure what we were meant to do or how to approach it, but I felt the best way I could start would be to generate ideas, and I created a mind map and chose different words, phrases, ideas that to me spoke about bridging distance. In my mind, the most predominant way we are constantly bridging distance in our everyday lives is through the use of typography and signage. We are constantly showing messages and creating advertisements, directions, getting a message across. So for this mini brief, I chose to create a project that was based around signage and typography. My original plan had been to compare and contrast in experimentation both urban and suburban styles of signage and typography and how the environment influences them. The following are examples of what I thought were good examples of typography and signage. They were chosen as good examples because they were both smart in their iconography, their style, and their clarity. And having shown you what I felt were the strongest examples of good signage, iconography, and typography, I will now show you what I felt were very underwhelming or signs that just missed the mark ever so slightly and could be further developed and reworked. For me, the Bridging Distance project was a research project. The learning outcomes from it will be applied in the development of my project. You know you have a chronic illness when. As I am creating not only a book and a book cover, I am also creating a campaign to go along with it. So having explored this, I will be able to apply all of my learnings and go from there. Thank you.